Hey comic book fans, today we're talking about Underneath Tales of the Sun. This is the comic book adaptation of a full live action adaptation of this story. And I both watched the movie already. I'll be linking that in the description of this video. And today we're talking about the comic book itself. We're following this one particular character, and in simplification, he is an astronaut. He's traveling through space, and he is being a voyager of sorts, and his journey comes to a very interesting, I wouldn't say halt, but definitely a current that leads into a new direction. He finds this new planet, and while he is still new to this planet he just found it, he finds these people. It's not just a lifeless planet, it is a planet with life on it. And the part that he particularly plays in this entire story is very interesting, and it's even expanded upon in the movie itself. We follow this character named Enix, if I'm pronouncing that right, and he comes across this planet, comes across these people, and he is falling into this rebellion. And what this rebellion is of people that have fallen to a higher powerful being. And the one thing I would want to say about this comic, if I was to give my constructive criticisms, is that it's not given enough time to I would say lay out the groundwork. And what I mean by that is it feels like you're being hit with a lot of the points without enough detail and time with these characters, because he is quickly landed on this planet, and then he is put in this gladiator type match with the leader of this planet. And as they're going back and forth, out of nowhere he gains powers. He starts to show these powers, and he uses them in a fit of rage against the leader himself, the leader of the rebellion. And that is when he tells him, like, you're like the chosen one, you have this power, and the only people that have this power is the conqueror and the pretty much the villain, the overarching villain that is trying to take over this planet. And that now you're here, he's going to want to come after you, and he's going to take your power as well. And overall, I say very nice, I say very unique story being told here in the fashion that's being told in. The criticism I have, again, is that you don't get enough particular detail in the beginning of the story and during the story, in between these huge, concepts in this story. You don't get a lot of the, what leads up into the next part of the story. Another part that's being told is that Levin, if I believe that's Levin, he was a friend and a fellow soldier of the conqueror himself, Azazel, and they was friends, and they were soldiers and partners. But as soon as he found said power, he immediately turned into the enemy. He became more aggressive and became more of a conqueror and took over. And when they both had powers, he tried to fight him. He took his powers, and that's why only one of them has these miracles and these powers and these abilities now. I would have wanted more detail, because nobody just gets power then becomes evil. Their intentions and their personality, I would say, in most cases had to already be showing signs of turning evil of sorts. And that when he gets the power, then that's when they turn evil. But there's a part in the story contradictory, and because in this panel they're talking, he tells him this is not your fight. He tells our main character that this is not his fight, but he says that, but then he leads him into this rebellious war against the Order of Swords, right? Against the army, against the people, against these beings that they're fighting against. He fights alongside him after he tells him this is not your fight, right? So that panel, he tells him, and then like a page or two later, right, when the main villain comes in, the leader himself comes in, and he fights his soldier again, the guy that was his friend, his partner. As they're going back and forth and they're having this combat, now he knows he can't actually fight this guy because he doesn't have any power. He doesn't match up to him yet. As they're fighting, he tells Azazel, which is the villain of the story, he tells him that this is not his fight. He goes back on his word. He tells Azazel to leave him out of this. And I'm like, why? I'm like, that part of the story, the writing doesn't make any sense to me. Because if that was the direction he was going to go, then as soon as he would have came there and you saw he had powers, you should have been trying to get him out of there. But then the villain shows up, right? Then Azazel shows up and you're fighting him just to let the other guy escape and get away from the jump of the story. But he pretty much took him into his own, and then he made him a warrior, and then he pretty much made it his fight. But then at the ending of the story, he gets on a ship and goes to Earth. He goes to another planet, and there is the idea of them training to try to regain their strength and their power to be Azazel. And that is the overall concept of the story. The movie gives a lot more context, and I probably will be giving a movie review in the near future. And that's all I have for this video. Thank you guys for watching this video. Like, share, and subscribe for more. And thank you for watching.